I'm with Ken Moore from Canada, and Ken is here in Bethlehem. And you've been on a little bit of a journey. Where have you been? What have you been doing?
We started off, originally we were going to spend about 20 days in Gambia, Africa, to do a little bit of missions work with the OCC. That's the Christmas shoe boxes and stuff like that. But upon making plans, we realized that, for the cost of doing a work in Gambia, we could also come to my friend's place at the House of Hope, Sammy Badra, and to meet you as well, because you're my friend. To come to Bethlehem. It would be smarter financially. So that's what we planned. So we did a couple of weeks ministry work in Gambia, and then we've come here to do whatever the Lord leads.
Was this the first time of doing a missions trip?
It has been the first time for me to do anything like this, in the sense that I've never been in a jet plane. So yes, this has been quite an eye-opener for me.
Yeah. And what were you actually doing in Gambia?
Well, when we got there, we knew that the church there was going to be doing plans to build a school, because they don't have a school system within that town. So when I got there, my view was that, I can do physical labor, and there was a lot of trees. There's a lot of area, the ground where they're going to put the school needed to be cleared. So that would be something that I can do. As part of my ministry, I will clear this ground. And that's for 2 weeks. Old school chopping and digging and removing of trees and shrubs and stuff like that. So yeah, it was good work.
Yeah. So more of the physical work. Now, if there's no school there, these children must be uneducated, are they?
Yes. There's something that has kind of opened my eyes to life in a very poverty-stricken area. So when you get there, you first notice a lot of them are in bare feet, sandals, dirt roads. You see the garbage, the whole living style is very lacking. I mean, we're very blessed in Canada, but there, even running water, like we were drawing water from a well, which has frogs in it. So yeah, they don't have these things. So even the schooling system, they don't have. So that's why this church was planning to give a new start and a hope that, they have a future. Right now, they don't.
This must be very striking for you, coming from Canada, where you've got all the wealth, going into Africa, where they don't even have running water. Did they have electricity as well?
The place that we stayed at didn't have electricity on what would we call the grid. They were basically just with a battery, and as the sun would charge that battery, you would have a little bit of light at night. So yes, very little. There's no power. Many of the places were in huts where you don't have power. As your influence would be increased, you would have, there are obviously places that have everything. You can see where the influence of finances are there, but where we were staying, there's very little. Wow. Very, very little.
Right. So without the power, you don't even have a refrigerator.
Yeah, so every day they would have to go, and they would provide for us people who would come to visit. So they would go every morning, buy what they want to eat that day, because it would spoil overnight because it's so hot. So yeah, every day is, a routine of, they would have blocks of ice they would have to buy, but everything costs money. Yeah. And that, money of which they don't have a lot of.
Who was responsible for getting the water every day?
Usually it was Daba, pastor's wife. She did a lot of it. But you are responsible. If you want water, you go. Say, for instance, you have to go to the loo, the bathroom. So you would have to pack a bucket of water with you just to rinse the area where you're going to go to the washroom, because that's the way it is. Yeah. So if you need water, you get for yourself, or somebody would just fill up a bucket. So it's kind of a community thing everybody puts together.
Did they have proper toilets like we have here, or was it just like a hole in the ground?
It's pretty much just a hole in the ground. That was a bit of an issue for me, but, it is what it is. That's their living style. They don't know what a proper toilet is that we would have that we could flush. You don't have that.
So this was very important work, isn't it? Because although it's just chopping down trees, it's actually preparing for the future for a school.
Yeah, and some of the design that he's looking at for the school is going to have proper facilities for washrooms and stuff like that. So they are trying to change what their system is to bring into a little bit more a better quality system for when these children are going to be in this this school. So even though they don't have a lot, they're still striving to get better and to have a better system.
So you said you went with Samaritan's Purse, and tell us a little bit about Samaritan's Purse and what they do.
Well, Samaritan's Purse, I wasn't really under their covering, but because my sister Cheryl has been to Gambia already with Samaritan's Purse, handing out the shoeboxes. Within those shoeboxes, the gifts that we would collect from different parts of the world, Christmas boxes and stuff like that, they would open up an opportunity for whoever got these boxes, these children, they would have an opportunity to start a school. They would learn about the Lord and his everything about Jesus and stuff, but they would still teach them schooling. So they would have an opportunity, OCC would come in and train people to be able to do the schooling, be able to mentor the children that would come in, and it would be a process where you would do the schooling, but you would be mentoring beyond that. That's how they would, open up the shoeboxes and give into that community and start bringing change through the children.
What struck you about being in Africa?
Oh my gosh. I think there's so much. I think even within what I see as poverty, there's a sense of a community of working together and just happiness. Even though they have nothing, they seem to still be very happy, joyous. I don't know how else to put it. They're happy with what they have.
Have you learned a lot from the trip?
Oh, immensely. I've learned the fact that just, to be thankful for what you have. And that is simply, for me, it's the blessing of God who has blessed me to have a lot, but I don't need it anymore. I think, I'm learning to, even the short time that I was there, to live with nothing, I'm still happy. I can be at peace living there. I could live there full time and still be happy with what little they have. I would be sufficiently happy with that.
And then you've came over to Bethlehem, and we're here into Bethlehem today. How has your trip been in Bethlehem?
It's been, again, I've always longed to be here. A friend of mine has been asking me to come. To see Bethlehem in itself, in its reality, rather than what I see on the news, even with the conflict that's happening right now, to see it firsthand, I have a different perspective between what I see with the Palestinian people and the Israeli people, being on both sides of the border, listening to the conversations on the street. I have a different sense of what it is and what the media is telling me and what is reality here. I find it very interesting.
And of course, while you've been here, there has been a little bit of conflict as well, hasn't there?
Yes, that's interesting for me to experience firsthand. As I say, I was able to walk down. I watched the Palestinian youth and children. They're setting things up to burn. They're burning things. They're moving garbage cans in the road. They're slinging rocks. They're fighting. The Israeli armies, they're coming out with their weapons. And I'm at one point, I'm looking at a rifle pointing in my direction. And so, with the tear gas, although at the time they weren't shooting tear gas with my presence there, but I'm looking all over the ground. I'm seeing the tear gas, bombs, or I guess what would be left over. So that was interesting to watch. Thank the good Lord I didn't have to experience it firsthand. Yeah.
And have you been able to get involved a little bit in ministry here as well?
I've done a little bit, not so much because I'm just learning the area. I've been able to talk with a few people, but at the House of Hope, I've been able to do more physical stuff, fixing, upgrading, setting tiles, little things like I can do around here. But mainly right now, it's just to learn the area, to see where I can, if God's grace brings me back, then where can I work? Where can I put? I was very blessed today to go into a refugee camp where I can see my skill set helping there and doing ministry work in that camp.
Has this actually given you a heart for more of Israel and more for the Palestinian Authority?
I think for both, not just Palestinian, but in general, yes. I very much a heart to minister to both sides, because there is a need everywhere. So whether you're a Palestinian or whether you're an Israeli, there is still need for help on both sides that I see.
Yeah. With all of this that you've been doing, of course, this was your first mission. Do you believe now that everybody should go on a mission trip at some point in their life?
Oh, absolutely, beyond any shadow of a doubt. If anybody has anything to say about something and you have not gone firsthand and experienced it, what it is like to be in a poverty situation, to be even here in the Palestine, to see it firsthand, you need to experience it firsthand. Do the research, but go. God says, the fields are ripe, where are my workers? If you have a chance to go on a ministry trip anywhere, I strongly urge you to do it. Spend the time, learn what it is like to live that way. You will have a greater understanding and respect for what is there.
Now, you're actually flying out very early in the morning. Is your plane still running? What's happened?
Yes, we've found out this morning that our planes are not grounded. We are, as of right now, still able to meet our flight time at 1 o'clock in the morning. So yes, we are going to be able to fly out on time. I think because of all the rockets and all the turmoil that's happening, they've grounded all of the flights out of the airport. But right now, I'm not sure if it's a ceasefire, but everything is very calm right now, so the flights are still going as planned so far.
Yeah, we've had quite a number, maybe about 400 or so rockets coming from Gaza into Israel, and that doesn't necessarily affect here in Bethlehem, and you probably haven't seen anything of that. But what are your family and what are people thinking about this back at home, knowing and seeing this in the news and knowing that you're here in Israel, even though you haven't really seen anything?
Yeah, well, I'm getting a lot of notes and, get home, come home. Why aren't you coming home? Are you okay? What's going on? Are you safe? Are you being are you being attacked? So, yeah, they are seeing what the media is showing them. I'm showing them a little bit of what I'm seeing in reality. So, rest assured, I'm okay. I'm not in danger. So don't. It's very interesting what they're very worried for me, and they want me home as soon as possible. But I keep telling them it's okay, we're safe here.
Yeah, you came at a very difficult time. Are you coming back?
I will definitely come back with more wisdom than I came the first time. So yes, I will definitely come back.
And what's your prayer finally for Israel, Palestine?
Oh my gosh, my prayer would be restitution, where Isaac and Ishmael can come together back as a family, the way God intended it to.
Okay, Ken, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paul.